The wheels are going 80 miles an hour the time you take off. You're not going 80 by the time you take off, but the wheels are going 80. Hello, and welcome to an episode of BeamNG.Drive. In today's episode, I'm going to be checking out the new vehicle in the game. Well, it's not really a new vehicle, but it is an electric vehicle. It is the Hirochi eSBR 4, but BeamNG decided to make an electric version of it. Which is obviously communist, because everything that is not gasoline powered is communist, but I decided I'd cover it anyway. So, let's start with the base model here. Right here is the base model version. I personally kind of like the wheels on this. The styling is so much different with the front bumper. The front bumper and the hood and the lights and the mirrors. It really, when I first look at this, or let's just say you look at a Tesla, it looks kind of weird to me. It looks like it was a car that was a gasoline powered and then they just took the grill off. This one just looks really good. It has a better design styling than a Tesla would ever have. And then we look at the rear, and it has these nice brake lights and bumper. So with this model, you get one rear engine. Okay, so let's just take a look at that electric motor down here. So here's the electric motor. It is an electric motor. It's very simple, actually. And right here is the big battery pack. Now this battery pack adds weight to the car. Weight isn't good. This actually does weigh about 100 pounds more than the normal car with a gasoline-powered engine. It weighs more than that, except it weighs more than the all-wheel drive version. So this is rear-wheel drive, but it still weighs more than the all-wheel drive one by about 100 pounds. Now you go to the interior, put it in drive, and you just go. There's no engine starting or anything. So when you take off, if you drive like a sane person, which is probably not very often because of how much power the electric motor does have, if you drive like a sane person, you might get 100. I'm not going to say 100. You might get, let's just be optimistic, 75 miles out of the range. However, if you're gunning it like I do, I did this off camera, and with the all-wheel drive performance one, I got about 10 miles. And I wasn't even gunning it that hard in the performance one. Right now, flooring it 98%, and now we're at 97% charge. And over at the left side of the screen, it's kind of weird because I have that app on the screen, and it says I have 10 gallons of fuel. That just means I have the equivalent of 10 gallons of fuel. That's how they simulate this thing using battery. Now also, one big change compared to the normal car is that this car right here has much stiffer suspension. Well, not necessarily much stiffer, but it has to account for a bit more weight than the normal one. Because if you put normal springs on this, and I'll show you here. I'll put the really sporty springs on this. So, body, rear suspension, and front suspension. Put on the S2. And put on the S2 in the rear. Now, let me just show you what happens when you take off here. It's softer and floatier because it weighs so much. Also, even though this thing does have an electric motor, it's not a high-performance one, and it's just a real electric motor. So you get off the line, if you don't want to spin your wheels, then the electronic stability control kicks in, and then you basically do nothing off the line if you just floor it. See what, I'm just going to floor it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, kind of boring. And then also, if you notice, when you turn this off, there you go. Electronic stability control off. Or on sport mode, that little gauge that little gauge down there changes to your G-forces, because that's more sporty. So now, if you take off the line, you still don't go very fast because it's rear-wheel drive. However, you do burn a little bit of rubber, which is fun. It's just not very controllable, I've found. This electric vehicle with the rear motor, I can't drift it. I mean, okay, let me just try here. I mean, yeah, I'm sure someone can, but I can't. Oh, and there goes my bumper. Okay. Let's reset it right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the relative camera. And let's look here. So you have this pretty much pointless GPS now because you have this GPS, which is a lot cooler looking. And cooler means better. Okay. And then over here you have your range, which this thing thinks I'll go 72 miles, but then if I actually start driving, see here, so now I'm driving. With my current driving at the moment, 57 miles of range. And then if you gun it, You gotta make sure I'm not gonna fly off the road. Gunning it, and see what it goes down to there. 53, 45, 43. Yeah, really, you don't get a crazy amount of range with this car. Right there, I used about 3.5% of range. And then also the regenerative braking. Let me just show you that. So if I'm going here, and then I let off the throttle, go to the interior, I'll show you this. You'll see the vehicle actually slows down like you're putting the brakes on a little bit. However, the brake lights don't come on, which some electric cars actually do. Look, let off, and you can actually see it on the front suspension. I'm going to let off here, and the front lowers a little bit because there's a bit of braking force going on in the rear, actually. And that puts more juice into the battery so that you can go farther. Let's just say you're going down a gigantic hill, you can get some battery. Okay, I think it's time to switch to the better model of this car. So, where's your eSBR 4? And then let's go to the eSBR 4, eSBR 500. And what these numbers next to the name mean, I probably should have said this earlier, but they mean the amount of horsepower. Notice, this one has 521. Okay, now, one thing I must say I don't like is it's chrome. Ew. Chrome. Disgusting. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep it that way. Now, I also don't prefer this interior. However, let me just show you how it takes off. A bit better. However, turn the electronic stability control off, and you get to go a lot faster. There's 60, and 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. Okay, yeah, this is fun, but it could be better. Also, with this model, you get some different wheels, which are larger, which means that the car will be a little bit stiffer, and it can actually corner a little bit better, too. However, let me just show you what happens. And then you give it some gas, and it just kind of goes. There's not really much to cover with this car. However, one thing I do know about the car, all of these, especially with the all-wheel drive one, because it's just a little bit better, is that they do handle good, because they have a very low center of gravity. Now, this car already had a low center of gravity because of how low it was to the ground. However, now it's like a center of gravity of a worm, because it has that heavy battery down low. Okay, that was a little bumpy. Did I damage my bumper? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, and there's the wheel spin right off the line, because this makes torque from 0. So as soon as you put your foot down, it's just, you're going. And if you look here, yeah, but this thing weighs a lot. Let me just go show you how much it weighs. Let's look. Here's your SBR 4. Here it is. It weighs 3,500 pounds. Now, let's go to the fun one. The really fun one. Okay. This one has a green color, which means go fast. This is personally my favorite one. Mainly because I'm an ape and I like power. But also because I like the interior. It's blue, the green stitching, and highlights in the interior. So if you just drive along, good. Once again, this car, you put your foot down, it just kills the power. So, turn that off. The wheels are going 80 miles an hour the time you take off. You're not going 80 by the time you take off, but the wheels are going 80. So now I'm just going to turn around here. I'm going to go about, let's just say 40, and take off. Okay, there's 80, 100, 110, 120 there. I mean, it's obviously a lighter car with a little bit higher center of gravity would be better than this at cornering, but a straight line speed from about that 40 to 100 range, it is so good. Just watch. This time I'm going to do it from the interior. First gotta get around this corner. I've already wasted 4.5% of my battery. Okay, now give it some gas. 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. And right there, now I'm at... Okay, I am at death now. The car just kind of flew off and died. One thing, too, you'd think with that battery pack being right in the middle, this thing would be a little bit stiffer, the chassis, and it would be a little bit better, let's just say in a collision or something like that from the side. Let's see. So for this, I think I'm going to go to a different map, actually. I'm going to go to grid map. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna set this up, and then I will be right back. Okay, so here's where I'm gonna do the test. First, I'm just gonna line this truck up a little bit better. I'm gonna hit them at about, like, let's say 35. So I'm gonna control R right now, and the RPM gauge just glitched a little bit there. But oh wait, I just thought about something. This thing, because the battery's in the floor, you wouldn't want to be hit by this, because this would not hit the lower part of the car. It would just hit everything, like, on the top. So let's look for a car that sits a little bit lower than that. An ETK K series. That's a good one. With this, I'm gonna go 40. How fast do I go in first gear? I think I'm just gonna go 36. There we go. Now reset this K series. And there we go. Let's see which one did better. So here is the dinosaur. The dinosaur, yeah. Okay, let's look at this one here. You know, I think this one actually did do better. Looks like it. Seems like it held up its rigidity a little bit better. So I'm going to remove this. And really, I think that would be all to cover here. Well, there is a few more things. So with this normal vehicle, so with this thing, the top speed is, well, I'll show you here if I get it big enough straight. I'm gonna have to turn right here. The top speed of this is about 158. However, I wonder how high that can go, because you can change the final drive ratio. Okay, big straight here. Give it the beans. 120, 130. 158. There it is. And why not just crash it for fun? There we go. It is a ball. It is actually a complete ball. 158, nothing left. Okay, so now, with the final drive ratio, I'm going to go in here, engine, rear differential. So this is the current final drive, racing final drive ratio. And then in the rear, in the front, change this out here to a racing final drive. And then tuning, 10-to-1 ratio for the rear. Okay. No, actually the other way around. This way, yes. Okay, now let's see how this will do now. And let's see. I'm also going to turn the traction control off. There's already 140. Okay, I'm going to just crash into the wall. I got 290 though. There with the car. Well, to test out the actual speed of this, I'm going to take it out here. Plop it right down there. And let's see what it is. Just going to wait here for a minute. And now, it seems like once it gets to 100, that's when it actually gets power. It's odd. Well, then again, I did completely screw up the final drive. 180, 190. Will it go 200? Yeah, there's 200. 220. I haven't gotten this fast in a while. And at the moment, it is making 600 pound-feet of torque. However, it's only making about 300 pound-feet of torque. Not even. 230. So at 232, that is the top speed of this. And now I've just gone into the abyss. I'm sure these tires are totally made to go this sort of speed. And the wing. Anyway. Oh, I'm curious. Let's see how much power we can regen back. I think we can maybe regen 2%. Or 3. Let's see. So right now I am at 71% and let off the gas. Let's see what I get up to. So if I'm lucky, I'll get up to 73%. Which currently looks like I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go look here. I'm currently regenning 40 kilowatts of power, and that is quickly declining. Looks like I might only regen 1%. Okay, there is 1% that I just regened. And there it is. 1%. That is all I regened. Anyway, really, there's not anything else to cover with this. So, hopefully you... Oh, wait. I thought of something. How does it off-road? Because it has... That's the question you never want to hear someone in a supercar say. But anyway, this does have all-wheel drive, but it's open diffs. So will this electronic stability control be smarter than the ETK or the Hirochi system? I mean, this is a Hirochi system, but like on the Hirochi Sunburst. So now I just need to find an area where it would actually matter, like right here. It's right here. 2 wheels in the air. Attempting to take off here. With the electric motor, is it any smarter? No, it's not. How about if I showed it in sport mode? No, it doesn't want to break those wheels and send the power to the other wheel. So you have to... Okay, yep, it off-roads horribly, just like it did before. So now that's basically everything I need to cover. Hopefully you liked this episode, and goodbye. Oh, that's not meant to happen. Yeah, I sort of broke that wheel. Anyway, hopefully you liked this episode, goodbye.